Hi folks, my name is Randy Gossman. Welcome to my video. Today I'm on location here in beautiful West Virginia. Why West Virginia and not Florida? Well, there may be some investment property I'm looking into here in this beautiful country, so maybe more on that later. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, just a quick video this week on what real estate schools I attended and the learning experience that I encountered. Also, I must state up front that I am not necessarily promoting a particular school. That is not because I had a negative experience with any of them, quite the contrary. It just means that those I'll be discussing in this video are the ones that I went through myself. But with that disclaimer out of the way, I actually attended two different real estate schools before I got my license. The first was Azure Tide Realty All Florida School of Real Estate. That's quite a mouthful, I know. This was an online course my wife got me as a Christmas present in 2016. I'd been talking about how interested I was in going into real estate, but I didn't feel like I had the time for the schooling. She came across this promotion Azure Tide was running for their online course and decided it would make a great gift. She was right. Now, to be a real estate agent, Florida requires a 63-hour pre-license course from an approved provider. I believe you had 3 months to complete this online course once it was started. I jumped in right away at the beginning of January 2017 and finished at the beginning of April. I stretched it right down to that last day. This was longer than it should have taken, and I had let the stress of my day job dictate my motivation for working on it. As a university department chair, I had been tasked with creating a brand new bachelor's degree for my program, which was engaging most of my attention. Even though I could have barreled through the real estate lessons in the evenings, it just felt like an extra layer of stress I preferred easing through in small doses instead. Anyway, each online chapter had slides you would read through and then answer or review questions at the end to test your knowledge. Now, as a college professor, I always try to include different teaching methods in class, as students rarely share the same learning style. For instance, I'm a visual learner. The content, though, was purely reading with very little visual elements to help illustrate the lesson. In a nutshell, it was a struggle for me to stay interested in that material. But I made it through the lessons and took the online final exam at the end. I believe it was a 3-hour exam, and as it was not monitored, I treated it as open book. Now, you need to pass your school's final exam to qualify for taking the state exam. If you then pass the state exam, you get your sales associate license. I did pass the course final exam with a 70%. Of course it was a 70. I had retained very little information over the 3 months I spread the course over. Here's the thing. You cannot pass the state exam with a 70. You need to score a 75 or higher. So as happy as I was that I passed my online course, I was not confident in taking the state exam. Even with having access to the prep material the school offered, I just knew I needed to have a better understanding of the material overall. So I decided not to take the state exam until I had taken the course again in a traditional classroom setting, which took place about a year later. Yeah, it was quite a gap. In June of 2018, I retook the Real Estate 63-hour Sales Associate Pre-License course, this time at Gold Coast School's North Miami location. You can still do the course online or choose between a 1-week or a 1-month on-ground course. As I had a full-time job as program chair, I did the 1-month evening classes, which were held Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6:30 to 10:30 at night. The last weekend filled out the remainder of the 63 hours, with Saturday and Sunday acting as test prep and final exam. I really enjoyed the class and the instructor a lot. He really knew his stuff. Also, the final exam is different every time, but the teachers definitely lean towards areas that reflect the current final questions during the last review. I passed again, but with a 93%, much more confident this time. They also held a state exam prep session that I attended, just more of what concepts are still confusing you kind of review. Less than a month after passing the course, I took the state exam. They do not mess around at the Pearson View Testing Center where the exam is held. Of course, your phone and any other belongings have to go inside of a locker before you can sit, but they also inspect your glasses and clothing for any hidden tech that might help you cheat. It's very, very official. I took about 3 of the allowed 3.5 hours to finish the exam, and surprisingly was not nervous, which actually worried me a little as well. I knew I was prepared as I could be during the exam, but I still felt that I would have struggled a bit more through it. Not to say there weren't questions that gave me pause, but I was really confident with most of my answers. In the end, I passed the state exam with 100%. Maybe. See, realtors know that the test is either pass or fail, and as long as you score 75% or higher, you get your license. Thing is, they don't tell you your score, even if you fail. My instructor said that if anyone ever asks what you got on the exam, tell them 100%. There's no proof you didn't. I remember my mom telling me that she got 100% on the exam as well 35 years earlier, so I guess this is a traditional running gag for real estate teachers. Anyway, 2 years later, I took the required 45-hour post-licensing course with Gold Coast as well. Still working as a program chair, I stuck with the same 4-week class structure again. For this, all I had to do was pass the final exam to earn the hours. No need for another state exam. I'm proud to say that I scored 100% on the final, and just in time, too. The last class was literally at the very end of February 2020, just a couple of weeks before the country shut down for the pandemic. So that's the only major education needed to continue being a real estate agent. That is, unless you let your license lapse, then you might have to start over from scratch. Don't do that. Every 2 years after that, you need 14 hours of continuing education, but there's no test for that. In fact, I recently did mine online in one sitting, and it did not take 14 hours. That course is usually just a review of any updated laws or regulations within the real estate industry, which does seem to happen annually. In fact, I covered some of them in a previous video. So that's a quick rundown of my education experience in real estate. Again, I'm not recommending a particular school, but if you're interested in becoming an agent, please do your research and find the best real estate education that will fit your needs. Just so you know, every legit school must follow the lesson material supplied by the Florida Real Estate Commission, so they'll all feel pretty similar. Anyways, thanks for tuning into this video. I really appreciate it, and YouTube would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, and also maybe hit the like button to help share this content. Also, you can hit the bell for notifications on my future videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, and take care, everyone.